Welcome to Cosmic Dream Sanctuary. This is a self-hypnosis script titled Center, Ground, Clear, Protect, and Connect, a hypnotic journey for you to discover you are already here, now, and well. This is for those who want to connect with themselves and find more energy. Those who might be in emotional distress and are capable of working with self-hypnosis. Those who may have experienced nightmares or other sleep and dream challenges. Those who have had a challenging paranormal experience, those who feel attacked and out of control, and those who want a basic and supportive hypnotic journey. The suggested outcomes of this script are an understanding of your current situation, a clearing, a grounding, and a recharging of your energies, an expression of consent boundaries, an experience of peace, contentment, and energy, and the greater embodiment of peace, love, joy, purpose, and connection here and now on earth. So how this works is in a moment I will offer the self-hypnosis experience. So I will invite you into a posture of relaxation. That might be sitting in a meditation posture. That might also be reclining in a chair. That might be lying in bed. Wherever you are, that's perfect. I want you to feel very comfortable and at peace. So a lot of people do find that to be lying in bed, but it can be wherever that you feel safe, comfortable, and at peace. So I will introduce the topic and the process of self-hypnosis. I'll give you a series of general instructions that you can choose to follow. You're actually invited to choose to show up for this experience and have the experience. You might feel like you're making it up, and that's okay. You might feel like you're not deep in trance, and that's okay. You might not even see anything at all, and that's okay. All you really need to do is to trust yourself and to express your intention so you can just be with your breath here and now and let the experience happen. Don't worry, this is all about healing, insight, and transformation for you to embody greater peace, love, and unity consciousness here and now. You are in control of your experience. Your subconscious mind will only offer what you can reasonably integrate. Self-hypnosis is like a nap or a daydream. You can use your imagination to distance yourself from memories that are challenging or experiences that are challenging. You don't need to be a skilled visualizer or have definite memories or even have a definite intention here. You can simply open up to the notion that you are well, that you are actually connected to an infinite source of wisdom and power and energy. You don't need to have specific beliefs. And you can simply use this time to explore or play or heal or discover whatever you need to do. So we are all one. This self-hypnosis series is offered in the tradition of mystic Christianity, Mahayana Buddhism, dream studies, CE5, and quantum healing. These scripts are freely offered by me, Daniel Rekshan. I hold a bachelor's degree in liberal arts, a master's degree in East-West psychology, a certificate in hypnotherapy in the spiritual counseling modality of depth hypnosis, a certificate in beyond quantum healing, and I'm ordained as a minister in the Universal Life Church. I offer consultations and sessions by donation, and for more information, you can go to cosmicdreamsanctuary.org. So the terms of the offering are important. It's important to understand what self-hypnosis is and what you're about to do. This series is focused on psychospiritual, imaginal, and dream levels. So this is not therapy. This is not treatment. This is not an intervention for physical or mental health. It is working with your inner experience at the level of dream, of spirit, of the imaginal. This course is practical and based in experience, but it is not definitive, or universal. So continue only if you feel a rapport with the offering and only so long as you are experiencing benefit. Any hypnosis experience here is offered as training in self-hypnosis. So you are actually responsible for your experience. No one's going to make you do anything. You are choosing to have this experience. All experiences in hypnosis and guided meditation arise from the imaginal and psycho-spiritual aspects of the mind, and therefore must be interpreted like a dream and not as evidence for historical events. This is really important to understand. But just like dreams are precognitive, are telepathic, might involve qualities of out of body experience and remote viewing, so too hypnosis may have those special qualities of knowledge. But it requires a process of discernment and interpretation in order to make statements about this world. So the basic theory here is that from the Western psychological point of view, is that we are using suggestions to enter into what's called a therapeutic trance, where I will offer suggestions or instructions that you yourself hear and then offer to yourself. So the idea is that as you relax, you open up perhaps more to the subconscious mind, that there is a greater communication between the conscious and the subconscious mind, and that the subconscious mind actually is connected with wisdom, with knowledge, with capacities for healing and doing things that are oftentimes beyond imagination for the conscious mind. So from the Western psychological point of view, we are using therapeutic trance to experience a series of suggestions. So what are those suggestions? Well, the systems of suggestions and ideas and imagery come from different modalities or frameworks of hypnosis. One of the frameworks of hypnosis that I use is depth hypnosis. And we have the understanding of energy, power, and concept as expressive or somehow determining our experience. So when there's an issue at play, we look at the flows of energy, the connections of power within yourself, and also concepts that you might have about your experiences. So in this case, you are engaged in a self-hypnosis practice to reconnect with yourself, to reestablish energetic boundaries, and to really call in your own personal energy. And so one of the ways we do that is through soul part integration. So oftentimes in trauma, part of ourselves split off, right? We go into a disassociated state. And sometimes when the events are really dramatic, we change our personality. So you might even have experiences where before an event, you were expressive, you were an artist, you were something else, right? Really, really in the flow. And then something happened, and now you're a different person and you don't feel like you can connect with that energy or something like that. So soul parts integration is a way of inviting back those parts of yourself that were split off and disassociated. And so we use this self-hypnosis practice to really communicate with all aspects of your being that it's okay to come back now, that you're actually doing the work of making yourself feel safe, of reconnecting with yourself. And so it's really okay for these different parts of yourself to come back and integrate, right? The other thing that we work with in depth hypnosis is a notion of energy or entity attachment. So in the past, we may have used concepts like demons or ghosts or something like that. But in this case, we simply may use the idea of like attachment, of implant, of pattern, of parasite. And we don't actually need to say who or what these attachments are. Right? We just have to understand that our energy practices and our energy flow may be impacted by things outside of ourselves. And if we've ever had a relationship that was difficult to end, that was draining, we know exactly what an energy attachment is like. It feels like being connected to something. It feels like losing energy to it. So the theory here is that we are entering into therapeutic trance to invite ourselves to integrate, but also to cut off any of those attachments that may be draining our life force energy. After that happens, it's really important to flood the system with your vital energy. So you've been somewhat impacted by an implant or a connection or an attachment or something like that. And so we're inviting that to be cleared in this self-hypnosis script. And then once it's cleared, we invite your vital life force energy with by imagining that you are actually connected with an infinite source of energy, and that you can flavor that energy according to your own personal vibration and bring that into your bodies. So that should really help shift some of the impact of say a traumatic event or a connection with entities that are not serving you, something like that. The other framework of hypnosis and that I use is the Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis techniques. And so the aspects here is that all of the experience that we're about to do, involves experience beyond expectation. It's really neither here nor there. It is really beyond expectation. It is this sort of quantum state. It's neither a wave or a particle. There's spooky action at a distance. There's all sorts of magical things that can happen in this state when we tune in. And so really that's what the Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis understanding is that we can have an experience that is healing, but is beyond expectation. A couple other aspects that I like to bring in is that we are actually connected to everything all at once. That is the understanding of ourselves in this universe. So when we use BQH, Beyond Quantum Healing, to go into the self, we are actually connecting in with all aspects of this world, and that actually means you are connected with source consciousness. You are connected with the source of love, of energy, of healing, anywhere, of miraculous healing. You're connected. There's no way not to be connected. Finally, the aspect we look at from Beyond Quantum Healing in this case, here and now, is soul contracts, origins, things like that. So oftentimes we might have patterns or issues that arise because of our experience in the past, and it might be past in this lifetime, it might be another lifetime, it might be, we might have something called a soul contract. This means a sort of destiny, why we're choosing certain patterns and karmic patterns, why this experience. And you might actually have an experience that you want to be working with in this self-hypnosis script. And so BQH, the Beyond Quantum Healing, invites you to contemplate what might be the soul purpose, what might be the reason why your deeper soul said yes to this experience. We understand, because of the sense of being beyond expectation and connected to all, that there is an operative level of the consciousness that is actually in some way responsible for all the experiences that arise. We're not saying that you're responsible for your challenging experience or anything like that, but that there is a way of looking at these things that provides insight, healing, and transformation that is effective, and that is in terms of considering how the deeper soul may have chosen this path in some way, shape, or form. That really goes into our dream studies information, our dream studies theory, right? So we understand from dream studies that life is something like a dream, actually, and that we can use dream techniques, dream work techniques, to make an understanding of our lives happen that is insightful, that is transformative. And so one of the things here is understanding that this life is like a dream. Not saying it's false, but is like a dream. And there are a couple things here that are really important. One is that we are all one in the mind of the dreamer. Whoever is dreaming this dream of life, we are actually all one. And this might be something very similar to having an experience of a nightmare in your dream, right? In the dream experience, the nightmare monster is terrifying. You feel really attached to the image of yourself in the dream. But lo and behold, it's both of them are you, right? Both of them are you. And when we use insight and intent, that actually transforms our experience. So the insight here is waking up to the dreamlike nature of our experience. And our intent might be to encounter the wisdom, healing, and transformation that is present within that nightmare experience. when there are things like recurrent nightmares and we apply these principles of insight and intent to them, we actually find that those nightmare monsters transform, that they provide healing, insight, and transformation. So that's really the invitation here, is that if you are working with a challenging experience, to invite an understanding that in some way you are both the source of that challenging experience, the object, the entity that is creating that experience, and yourself here in your body. So there are two things happening, and that you might actually wake up to the deeper reality that you're actually all one, and that there is some wisdom, healing, insight, or transformation that wants to happen. Wonderful. So we've covered some basic theories. I want to provide some discussion and concepts before we dive into the script, right? So I want to connect with your current state, right? So even if it is distressing, I invite you to actually do that. The connection to that state, even if it is distressing, right? Whatever you're working with. And this script is specifically designed to be general, very general, but designed to serve as a sort of support to people who have just had a challenging experience, right? You don't actually reach out for a hypnosis experience unless you've had something extraordinary happen or you want something extraordinary to happen. So we just want to take a moment and acknowledge the extraordinary aspect of your experience, right? And to understand that we are inviting presence with it. We are inviting you to feel those feelings, right? Some of the issue with the soul parts integration we talked about, the part of yourself splitting off and not wanting to come back, doesn't want to come back because you're unwilling to complete that emotion, right? Oftentimes we can simply complete emotions. We can cry instead of stuff it. And it's a very good experience. And that doesn't, if we cry instead of stuffing it, then we can be that much more present. We don't have to spend energy in repressing things. So in that way, you're invited to come into presence with your own experience. Like if it was a scary experience, right? Establish a sense of safety first. Establish a sense of safety first so that you know you're okay. And then have the emotionality. If you cry throughout this whole thing or say, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, that's totally fine. Know that you're in control, that you can feel those emotions, and that you can move through that, right? We talked a bit about life is like a dream and that we can wake up to its dreamlike nature, right? So this sense is that, anything at all, we can use as a tool, like we use any dream at all. Any dream we work with is a message for healing, insight, and transformation. Any dream that we have comes from our minds. It comes from our hearts. It comes from our imagination. And therefore, it is meaningful. And similarly, this experience or whatever state you're in now is expressive of the wisdom, healing, and insight that is your true nature, right? So we are inviting you to wake up to that true nature. So I wanted to talk about the contents of extraordinary or paranormal experiences. So you may actually have had a extraordinary paranormal experience, right? So understanding that those things are real, right? Understanding that at some level, right, they are real and impactful. Like you may have had a ghost experience, an entity attachment. You might feel like a targeted individual. You might just have heard a voice. We don't know. You don't know what happened, right? There's some sense of, am I okay? Yes, you're okay, right? We're inviting presence back into the body. Whatever that experience was that was distressing is over now because you are engaged actually now in this self-hypnosis script. So whatever happened, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You've made it here this far. You can keep going, right? And so some of this stuff talking about paranormal experiences, one of the most important things actually with the extraordinary or paranormal experiences is avoiding a sense of re-traumatization, right? So you've had an experience, it's very intense, and you might actually want to talk about it, you might want to share it, but then there's issues like people think you're crazy, they don't believe you, and then there's a sense of trauma there. So I invite you actually to take a moment and just be present with whatever your experience is and find the acknowledgement you're seeking within yourself first, right? And then you can talk to other people or something like that. I want to talk about specifically energy and entity attachments, right? So oftentimes with the extraordinary sleep and dream phenomena, like sleep paralysis, like alien abduction, like ghost visitation, like curses, like magical things, these things that actually do happen, that are part of the human experience, that may or may not be accepted by a consensus worldview, they leave impacts on the body. There may be something in the body right now because you've had that experience, because something may have actually implanted in your body. We talk about terms of like possession and things like that, but really the sense is that there is a draining of your own personal life force energy to an entity that is somehow attached to you, an energy pattern, a parasite, whatever, right? We don't actually have to get into what it is, right? But we have to know that you can flush that. You can let go of that. You can say no to those experiences. Oftentimes it unfolds because there's a sense of openness, because you don't know you can say no to it. We don't know. So the process that I'm going to invite you and guide you through is a process of letting go of any energy or entity attachments, these implants, any like people sometimes use the word cords, anything like that. We're going to cut those, and then we're going to seal them, and we're going to ask for protection. We're going to fill you up with your own personal life force energy so it pushes out anything like that. It's important to know that you are wise, whole, and enlightened already. Everything else is an illusion, right? This is really the principle we're working with. The image, the archetype of the self is that of wholeness. It is a circle, right? It's not a broken circle. It's a circle. That is what the image of the self is, right? So the stories we have of miraculous healings, right? They all come from people who have embodied human potential and embodied what it means to be a human being. You are that, actually. There's nothing else here except for the reality that you are wise, whole, and already enlightened, right? And you might feel not. That's totally fine, because we're actually working at that level, right? We're talking about power, energy, and concept. And that's what we're working with now with the mind, using imaginative experiences somewhere between conscious, subconscious, right? But ultimately, we are relying on the fact that you are wise, whole, and enlightened already. That is how these experiences of hypnosis are effective, is because you are tuning in to your deeper reality. You are a sovereign free will being, and all else is illusion. So this is really important to understand, and it may feel really challenging if you've had an experience of feeling targeted, attacked, victimized, implanted, visited, out of control, right? That sort of thing. And so the invitation here is to say, do you actually resonate with that understanding that you are a sovereign free will being, that you are already wise, whole, and enlightened? Even if you don't understand how exactly it works, if you resonate with that notion, then you have to then look at your whole life as something to wake you up to that experience, some invitation to come into tune with that knowledge, to cut through this illusion, right? This experience that you're working with now, the challenging experience that you want to resolve or whatever, is your wake-up call from the illusion that you are something besides a sovereign free will being, right? And so oftentimes we talk about consent, right? Consent is very important. In some of the more extraordinary phenomena like visitations, like abductions, like implantations, it does actually, in some way, shape, or form, require consent. It requires consent in these experiences. And you may have given consent at some deep soul level, right? So this understanding that I often think about the sense of smoking cigarettes, right? So it's like I say, I don't consent to that experience of addiction. Like at one level, when I was addicted to cigarettes, I was like, I don't want this. I don't consent to that experience. But I still found myself smoking cigarettes. It turned out I needed to go deep within myself to experience many, many layers of distressing emotion, right? The thing that I wanted to hide, the issues I had to be present with them in order to have enough energy and power to clearly state my consent boundaries with myself. And so in this way, right, you might be experiencing a sense of victimization, you might be experiencing a sense of being out of control. You actually have the capacity to express consent or pull back consent, say no to those experiences, yes to other experiences. But it's really invited at the deepest level. And so understanding that it may take several experiences of cutting through the illusion to vibrating, to being present with your experience, to really express these boundaries in such a way that the extraordinary visitors, right? If we're talking about alien abduction, the aliens listen, right? They communicate at a different level than words, right? They understand sometimes what's happening at deeper levels. Same thing with the paranormal stuff, the ghosts, things like that. So really the invitation here in this script is, even if you don't fully understand the layers of consent, to actually have a clear expression with words of your consent boundaries, and to invite your subconscious mind to start resonating with the direction, your intention, your conscious intention, and inviting your experience to unfold, perhaps even committing to several cycles of working with this process in order to fully embody it, right? So that's what we're doing here and now. It can really happen, right? It can really happen. The shift can happen in terms of the consent being offered immediately, right? It's really important to give you an opportunity to say it, to express it. You may be thinking it, but that might not actually be communicated. So we're going to invite a way of saying it that it resonates at all levels and sets programming in your subconscious mind to unfold, so that throughout the next hours, through the next day, your bodies, your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bodies, right, are resonating with that intent and expressing that. And then finally, I want to talk about how intentions work, right? So we understand that this world is something like a dream, that you are already wise, whole, enlightened, everything else is illusion, that sort of thing. And so you're a sovereign free will being. So when you establish intention and express it in a potent way through words, through ritual, it is expressed in a way that this universe, as a conscious living being that you actually are, it hears it and takes action on it. And it might take some time for it to be accomplished, or it might not. We don't actually know, but we know it responds in the perfect way because we've asked for that, because we are actually the sovereign being that is able to accomplish those intentions. So we use word, we use ritual, we use this way of going into therapeutic trance to give ourselves suggestions and affirmations and express our intention so that it's accomplished in a very potent way. So those are the concepts, a little bit of discussion around self-hypnosis, particularly in this in this topic. The basic script here, and I want to run through this so that you have full understanding, so that you feel very much in control. Then we'll go through this script. Then we'll actually have the experience. So we are setting the intention, and we set the intention for healing, insight, and transformation. We set the intention that all of this experience unfolds according to the principles of non-harm, the cosmic law of one, meaning it respects free will and is oriented to service to others. So this is first being of benefit to the self, meaning that you take care of yourself so that you are capable of being of service to others. So that's really important. And finally, the intention that we work with here with Cosmic Dream Sanctuary is always for the embodiment of peace, love, and unity consciousness here and now on Earth. Right? And after we establish intention, which is what we've been doing in this experience, and I'll invite you to take a moment to consolidate your own personal intention, we'll establish trance. And we do that through going through a process of relaxation. Then we invoke the higher self, meaning we call in your wise and well and whole self, this sovereign free will being. We call that in. We say, we invite you in. We use these ritual ways, right? The words that we use, the intentions, the invitations, the going into trance. That's a whole way of inviting that part of yourself, that whole self in. Then we'll go through the process of grounding, clearing, energizing, protecting, connecting, and harmonizing. That's really what this is about. That's really what this experience is about. We will have a journey space, and that's a way to use an imaginal portal to gain information or understanding. So we'll express your intention in this state. We'll observe the response, and you can observe that in your own body as your sensations arise and things like that. And then finally, we'll invite the integration of those experiences. After the journey phase, we go into closing of the session. That involves a final experience, saying, do you want to do anything else? That sort of thing, giving you the final opportunity to complete whatever's happening. We'll express gratitude for the experience. We'll invite the perfect integration of these experiences. We'll commit to any actions that need to happen, that want to happen. And then we shift the attention back to the body and waking consciousness. So that's how it works. So now I'll invite you to have this experience. We're engaging in the self-hypnosis portion of this. So I invite you into a posture of relaxation. You may already be in bed. Right? You may already be reclining, and that's perfect. I invite you to just deepen your relaxation and to find a place of comfort where you feel safe. And that might be ensuring that your phone is off, that your doors are shut, that you have a blanket next to you. This will take about perhaps 10 to 20 more minutes of experience. And so you can really establish this as a soft and safe container for you to encounter yourself, to energize, right? And I'm talking in a relaxing way so that we invite relaxation at both the mental level, right, conceptual level, and the physical level. So if you haven't already, I invite you to simply close your eyes and start to tune into your breath. We're in the relaxation phase of this self-hypnosis. You don't have to pay any more attention to where we are. You can simply follow my voice, knowing that I'll follow the basic pattern that we've talked about. So you can just follow my voice into an experience of relaxation. And we're actually going to call on the higher self now. We call for your higher self, calling on the higher self, the wise, well aspect of yourself. We call on any aspects, any connections, any allies, any teachers, any angels, ancestors, animals, plants, energies, frequencies that are wise and well, who can support this process here and now, who can protect and guide. we call on them now, even before we go into relaxation. Calling for any allies, any guides, any ancestors, any angels who are wise and well, who act according to the principles of non-harm. We call them in to be present, to protect and guide this journey now. And now feeling so safe and guided and protected, we can relax even more by simply tuning into the breath. And the relaxation that might arise may be like going into sleep, but it may simply be a releasing of tensions. It may simply be a greater presence, right? And you can do that by paying attention to your breath as it flows in and flows out of your body. Observing the sensation of breath as it flows through your nostrils. Observing the sensation of your belly as it flows in and flows out. Letting go of any concepts or feelings you might have about the shape of your body. You are perfect the way you are. You do not need to hold yourself in any particular way. You can just be you. And as you breathe, just observe how your mind and body come into coherence. Just invite your mind and body coming into coherence as you place your mental attention on the physical sensations of your body. We're going to go on a journey. This is an energetic, imaginative journey together to center, ground, clear, protect, and connect. These are very basic aspects of relating to the spirit body, to the dreaming body, to the energy body. And these are ways to establish a sense of peace, of presence, of embodying unity consciousness, of feeling safe, of expressing your sovereign free will. So just be with your breath. And let's begin the process of relaxation. This is mindful relaxation. So you can start this process by simply inviting a sense of relaxation, simply inviting a sense of attention that shifts around your body. And we'll start with the top of your head. So inviting awareness of the top of your head, inviting a sense of relaxation. And you can do this by observing the feeling of gravity on your head. You might feel this like being pulled down towards the earth, or you might feel this in the support of your pillow, your chair, or the push-up of your spine. Letting go of any tensions in the top of your head. Moving the attention to the face, the eyes, the muscles by the nose, the mouth. Letting your eyes shut if they aren't already. Just letting the sense of attention to the sensation of gravity in your face invite a relaxation. And then move to the throat. Observe any sense of gravity and the feeling of being pulled towards the earth or supported by the skeleton, by your spine, by your neck. Letting go of any tensions in the muscles there. Shifting now to the top of the shoulders, top of the torso, the biceps, the elbows, the forearms, the hands, the fingers, all of the arms. So observing the sensation of gravity, inviting relaxation to follow. And then moving back to the heart space. letting the attention shift from the heart space to the belly, observing the sensation of gravity in the flow of in and out with the breath, inviting relaxation to follow, knowing that you are absolutely safe and protected, that you are simply going on a journey to connect in with yourself, with your vital life force energy, and to establish any boundaries, any connections, any sense of protection that you need here and now. And then shift the attention from the belly to the lower belly, to the hips, to the top of the legs, observing sensations of gravity, pulling, of support of the bed or chair, support of your own skeleton system. Shifting now to the thighs, the knees, the calves, the ankles, the feet, the toes, inviting relaxation to follow as your attention shifts through all those different parts. Now your whole body, the whole body. And just let the instruction sink deeply into your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bodies, that you can relax more and more, deeper and deeper throughout this entire experience, and not need to direct that relaxation process, that it actually unfolds, and that by the end of this experience, you will completely discover a sense of energy, a sense of rest, a sense of reinvigoration, that you don't actually need to do anything except for be open and desirous of this experience. And so now I am going to invite you to center, and the way we will do this is by calling in white light. So we are going to use white lights to do all of the centering, the grounding, clearing, protecting, and connecting. And this white light can represent and represents your highest self. This is your true essence. This is your true self. This is full of energy and compassion and capacity and love. And it is white light. And so you can imagine it even as white light. If you visualize, you use the visualization process. If you don't visualize, that's totally fine. You can use concepts. You can use your imagination. You can use sound. You can use feeling. Whatever way is meaningful to you, I want you to sense or feel or imagine that white light, which represents your highest self, is flowing to you from the center of the universe through our sun and to the top of your head. This white light actually can be any color that you need. So just like white light can be refracted in a prism to form a variety of colors, that you can choose any colors. It can be multiple colors. It can be a single color. It can just be white light. Whatever you need, this is what it is. And it enters the top of your head, and it flows down your spine, through your forehead, through your throat, through your heart, through your belly, through your lower belly, through the base of your spine, right? And it flows all the way down to the center of the earth. So you're in the center of this flow between heaven, between the sky, and the earth. You're in the center of that flow. And as it flows into the earth, imagine perhaps that it is like a taproot, like a root of a tree extending downwards into the earth. And this is an opportunity for you to feel very grounded. So you may even remember moments where you have been in nature, where you have felt safe and at peace, where you felt very grounded, right? Perhaps even having hugged a tree or walked barefoot, breathing in even the sense of ground Perhaps remembering what rain smells like, what newly tilled earth smells like. Any of these experiences of feeling very grounded, any of these memories are invited to come into this space as this white light flows into the earth, to the center of the earth, allowing this earth to support you, right? Realizing how much the earth actually does for us, realizing how vast its gravitational field is, that we feel it uniformly throughout all our bodies, how it supports life. Thank you, Earth. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for grounding us, our energy fields. Any sense of being ungrounded, any sense of feeling queasy or vibrational or floaty can really just go into the earth, right? And the earth really does receive many, many things. It receives compost, it receives dead leaves, it receives poop, and it transforms all of these things into new life force energy. So in that way, I invite you to let go of anything that doesn't serve you here and now. And we're going to clear your energy body, your spirit body, your mental body, your dream body, your physical body of anything that is not of your original source energy. So this might be any sense of attachment, implantation, any sense of connection. Those are invited to be cut. Those are invited to be severed, right? You are invited to cut any ties to anything that doesn't support your original life force energy in the process of embodiment of peace, love, and unity consciousness. Anything that doesn't have your highest good as its intent, you are invited to just say no. You don't have to imagine it. You can just say, no, I do not want these things in my body. And the way that you can let go of these things, knowing that you've expressed this, right? And that we might actually simply be establishing patterns and programmings for events to unfold in the next few days. But I actually invite these things to happen here and now as soon as possible. That any connections that you have with parasitic energy attachments, of implantations, of contact with any entities that does not serve, this here now is severed. You can even say in your head, anything that doesn't serve any connections I have to beings, frequencies, collectives, patterns that do not support the embodiment of peace, love, and unity consciousness according to my highest and most benevolent intention. All these things are no longer welcome in my body. And you can imagine that a sense of white light is now flowing. This is infinite white light from the universe. It flows through you and flows like a waterfall and pushes these things out and pushes them through your body, through this taproot of white light that's already connected with the center of the earth, and pushes them into the earth so that the earth can receive them and transform them into useful and vital and kind energies, and to serve them and help them resolve their own issues. So just allowing this flow of energy more and more, more and more. I don't care if it's hard for you to imagine. I want you to simply be open to this. Let it amp up, double it, and double this flow, right? It's an infinite flow. It's connected to infinite source. There's no need to be stingy or scarce with this. This is a rapid flow of energy like a waterfall through your body that pushes out any implants or attachments or connections that do not serve you. Just let this process come to completion. Let this process come to a point of natural completion, and then start to sense or feel or imagine that new life force energy from the earth is coming into your bodies. New life force energy is coming into your body to help you to fill in all those spots. So all those spots that may have been released, that may have had tension, that are now relaxed, I want you to direct life force energy into them. And I want you to imagine that as life force energy that comes up from the earth and down from the sky, and as it enters into your bodies, it starts to vibrate with your own frequency, that your own energy, that your own experience and things like that. I want it to really vibrate with your own personal frequency so that it feels very natural to come into your experience here and now. And I want it to fill you up completely. And so now, in this space of being centered, of grounded, of cleared, I want you to sense or feel or imagine that this white light comes up and out of your head and surrounds you in an egg or a sphere or a cocoon of white light. And this is like a cell wall. It lets in that which is of benefit to you, that which can serve you, that which can provide energy to your experience. I want you to just set the programming, say, allow those things to come in, but disallow anything that doesn't serve, that might have a negative experience. So it doesn't admit, it just reflects it. It's a pure, perfect boundary. Just sense or feel or imagine this, and we'll even deepen that connection you have with the sphere of white light just by acknowledging the directions once again: the north, east, south, west, the sky, earth, and heart. So that it can be before you, to the right, behind you, to the left, above you, below you, and within you. So there's this beautiful sphere of white light that serves to protect you. And then finally, just like we did at the beginning of this experience, I invite you to connect in with any source of guidance, of protection, of support that you have. And these may be aspects of yourself. These might be teachers or ancestors or angels or ETs or elementals or frequencies or places. But I want you to tune into those feelings that you have of yourself, of connection there, of so that you feel very connected. And I want you to actually ask those beings, those aspects, those connections to support you in your practice here and now, to support you in your process. Say, please, please help me. Please protect me. Please clear me of that which doesn't serve. Please help me stay into this space of relaxation. Help me realize that I am a sovereign free will being. Help me express what my intention is, whatever consent I have to these experiences. Please help me express it in a way that is meaningful and effective. Please help me integrate this experience or whatever experience I need in the perfect way. And so now, having gone through this journey of centering, of grounding, of clearing and protecting and connecting, I just want you to open up perhaps to these guides, perhaps to yourself. Is there any message or communication or experience that you need to do here and now to really accomplish your intention? And just think about it. It might be inviting energy into a particular place. It might be receiving a message. It might be acknowledging an intuition. It might be saying thank you. But just do that now. We'll just breathe while that is being accomplished. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so we'll just come back. We'll come back to the body first by acknowledging a sense of gratitude for all those who participated in your journey, to yourself for going through this experience. Coming back now to the physical body, knowing that you will experience a greater sense of peace, love, and unity consciousness. You'll embody that more and more here and now on earth, that you connect in with those aspects of yourself that are effective and beneficial, that the connections that you may have had with negative entities or implants or attachments or patterns of energy that don't serve, you'll find them to be less and less present in your life, and that that your intention will be accomplished, is accomplished, and has been accomplished in the perfect way in the perfect time. You can come back here and now. Thank you. Thank you for being present and doing this work. So I'll invite you to come back and to open your eyes when you're ready. You may want to wiggle a finger, a toe, open your eyes when you're ready. We'll be present with our breath. I've put the image of the earth, of Earthrise up. You can use that to feel grounded, to realize that you are actually on this beautiful blue marble, that you are very much completely supported by the earth, that you perhaps are a complete, beautiful expression of the earth herself, and that she is a kind mother and will care for you both physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So you can just be at peace with this image and come back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to talk about next steps in a moment, talk about offerings that I have, but I really invite you to center into yourself and to tune into any sense of commitment to action that you have. If something came up, if you need to deal with something, just make that commitment to yourself to take those actions. I do offer one-on-one sessions by a sliding scale donation in the modalities of depth hypnosis, beyond quantum healing, meditation instruction, spiritual counseling, and dream work. All of the work begins with a free and no obligation consultation. The sessions are a sliding scale donation, so money is not an issue. And you can go to cosmicdreamsanctuary.org/sessions to start the process. There are some group sessions and services on Wednesday nights. We do a study and practice group very similar to this experience of self-hypnosis that you can tune into. It is a live broadcast of a lecture and of a group practice, and then a sharing circle on Zoom afterwards. Similarly, on Wednesday mornings, we have music, readings, contemplation, and messages based on a weekly theme, and then a discussion group afterwards. So you can get to that at cosmicdreamsanctuary.org/groups for more information. Finally, here's a beautiful image of the flower of life, just knowing that this is an image of something like human society, and that when you tune into yourself in the way that you just did, you are perfecting the circle you're in, and you can really help society just by being this circle and knowing that within yourself there are many, many circles. Outside of yourself, you're participating in all these circles. And then as you tune into your beautiful, original energy patterns, that you are really perfecting the embodiment of society that might actually look something like this in our lives. So once again, thank you for your experience here. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for tuning in with yourself. It's really benefit to the world. May you go in a good way. May you dream well. May you be well.